The dark winter colour season is one of the most recognisable in the world. This colour palette is completely intoxicating, featuring jewel tones, berry tones, rich, cool-toned colours that would make many of us, myself included, look like we've just crawled out of our coffin. And yet, for people with the dark winter colour season, these colours make them look radiant. My name is Ellie-Jean, I'm a style consultant, and on this channel, we find our style by finding ourselves. So to begin, let's see if you are a dark winter. The dark winter features are dark first and foremost, then cool, then bright, meaning darkness is their dominant feature, then they are cool, and they're between medium and bright. They tend to have very dark hair and eyes. They're typically brunettes, anywhere from dark brown to black hair, and same with their eyes. Typically they have a deep smoky brown eye color, but it can vary anywhere between a medium brown to black. And sometimes I've even seen dark winters with hazel eyes or green eyes. It is technically possible that you might have very, very dark blue eyes, but it's very uncommon. Skin tone can vary across the entire scale, but typically dark winters aren't super pale, and if they are, it has an ashy undertone. That kind of ashy skin is common throughout, no matter what skin tone. They'll typically have deep rather than really pale lips, and these lips tend to lean pink rather than peach, and they'll often have kind of brown tone to them. All of this fluctuates and varies, and is about the overall picture rather than each individual feature. When we're trying to find a celebrity's colour season, it's always worth noting that we are working with a limited set of information. Usually their photos, they have makeup on, they have certain lighting, their hair has been done, we're not always looking at their natural features, and so all of this comes together in a way that can skew our results, and you might find that they look good in several colours all at once. And obviously celebrities tend to be very beautiful women, so it can be very hard to kind of pinpoint their best season. These three actresses are commonly understood to be dark winter across various sources on the internet, but of course there are disagreements about these things. So Nazanin Boniadi is, I first saw her on How I Met Your Mother. She's got the kind of medium skin tone. You couldn't particularly describe it as light, you couldn't particularly describe it as dark, and it has that kind of ashy colour underneath, which gives it this kind of mushroom tone. Her hair is black and her eyes also are very close to black. So you can see that even though she has very clear hair and eyes, her skin is much closer, so she has a more medium than low contrast. It's the same with Lucy Liu. She has very dark hair, very dark eyes, with lighter skin tone than Nazanin Boniadi, but it's still not very pale and it's still got that kind of ashy undertone to it. It's not ivory and bright, it's a little bit softer. Now for Anne Hathaway, her natural hair colour is not as deep, it's a much more medium brown. If you watch her in The Princess Diaries, you'll see as well how her hair really isn't that dark naturally, but she has deep brown eyes and quite pale skin. So even though her hair and eyes aren't quite as dark as the other two, because her skin is lighter, she still retains that kind of medium contrast. And it's that medium contrast that gives that smoky feel, where you can put them in a really dark smoky eye and it doesn't look gothic or edgy on them, it just looks natural and elegant. Another way to find your best season if you're not going to use features analysis is to do colour draping. So this is where you would go to a professional colour analyst, or you could have a go at DIYing it yourself. Select dark winter colours and see how they look against your features, and see if you all come together in one smooth, even picture where the colours don't look separate from you. If you're enjoying this video, I think you should check out my book, How to Dress Your Best. It is currently available for pre-order, and in it I do have a colour seasons section where I break down all the 12 colour seasons and have various quizzes to help you find yours. That's just one section of this book. This book will take you through an entire reimagining of your wardrobe, from finding what you love to what looks good on you, and then actually putting it into practice. There are so many exercises in here that I think you'll find really, really fun, and I'm honestly so proud of it, and it's a great way to support this channel. So go ahead and check that out, the link is in the description. So what are dark winter colours? Keywords that we use for dark winter include jewel, rich, smoky, berry, deep, moody, dusky, opulent, and gothic. Typical imagery I associate with dark winters includes berries and that kind of late 2010s jungle aesthetic that we see a lot in interiors. The word luxe, like luxe interiors as well, is very dark winter. Jewel tones, so jewels, and vampires, vampiric imagery. So to name some colours you might expect to see in the dark winter season, these include black and white, deep fuchsia pink, burgundy, maroon, deep red, vivid teal, midnight blue, emerald green, both silver and gold, although of course silver will look slightly better, but both are actually fine, charcoal grey, crimson red, plum, and a deep rose pink. And this is my palette that I tend to use for dark winters. To find a dark winter's worst colours, you just need to flip the keywords. So instead of dark, it's light. So light spring and soft autumn colours tend to be worse, as they are light, warm, and either soft or bright. And because dark winter is medium, both really bright and really soft aren't their best. Let's look at some celebrities in their palette versus not in their palette. And I've tried to choose pictures that are in the similar sort of years for them. So I can't have any of you being like, oh, but she's 10 years younger in that one. Of course she looks better, because that is not necessarily the case. Okay, so first up we have this picture of Anne Hathaway. She's in a golden yellow. She's got very pale lips. And here this dress feels separate. It feels like it's almost floating in midair and Anne Hathaway is behind it. They're not coming together as one picture. This is quite a warm yellow, so it also makes her look grey and slightly dead. And the fact that her lipstick is also quite pale, and it's also quite a soft, muted tone. We've got things going on at two opposite ends of the spectrum, too bright, too soft, and all in all, it's not matching her features. Whereas we compare it to this image of her in red, even though this is a very bold colour, it's also deep. So it flows with her features and everything becomes one picture. She's also wearing silver earrings, a deep lipstick, a smoky eye, so everything here feels natural, like it's meant to be. In this picture of Nazanin Boniadi, where she's not in her colours, she's wearing a kind of warm olive tone. And I wouldn't say the difference is as stark as with Anne Hathaway, but it still falls a little bit flat. In this kind of warm olive yellow, she looks a little bit sickly, a little bit ill. Now, she doesn't look bad because she's a beautiful woman. When we compare to this colour, which is in her season, which is this silvery, metallic, dark grey, the picture feels so much more whole. It doesn't feel like she's trying particularly hard, she just looks effortlessly stunning. Lucy Liu in this picture is wearing a really bright purple, which is leaning on warm. It's very neutral and it feels like it's hovering above her body. It just doesn't quite match the picture we're seeing here. Whereas in this one, where she's in a simple black dress, even though this dress is more simple, she stands out a lot more and we can see her features much more clearly. So how do you actually put an outfit together once you know you're a dark winter? Method one is to go technical. Use the keywords from the features section in this video to find outfits and colors that work for you. So you want jewel tones, medium contrast, dark, cool colors that are slightly bright. So when you're putting an outfit together, you don't want to go too high contrast where you're wearing white and black with white as one piece and black as the bottom necessarily, but you're gonna shine your best in medium contrast theoretically. Of course, that depends on other things going on in your features, like your essence, for example. So take that with a pinch of salt. And theoretically, by using these keywords, you'll have an outfit that comes together by picking each individual piece with these elements in mind. Method two is to simply pick colors from a color palette. So you can take my palette, or I have an extended dark winter color palette, which you can buy. The link is in the description. And you can choose pretty much one color, two colors, three colors, four colors even to pair together into an outfit almost at random, and you will have an outfit come together. Now you want to try and apply this with typical outfit rules. For instance, you might want to pair your shoes with your handbag or have multiple colors in one patterned piece rather than completely separate in your outfit. So if you're going to have like three colors, for instance, you might want them to all appear in one item rather than have like block colors, just to have everything flow together and bearing in mind the contrast level of this color season as well. But typically your color palette is a palette, so most colors are going to feel like they make sense together in some way, shape or form. But my favorite method is using the mood board. If you go to the link in my description, I have a Pinterest board with color inspiration, with pictures which encapsulate that color season. Now, all of these aren't color palette accurate. There will be one or two colors which stray outside of the dark winter season in each picture. But typically, why this works is you get a feeling for how those colors tend to interact together in one place. This is something that I actually learned from David Kibbe's 4-season Freedom Facebook group, which is a really underestimated resource. And one of the exercises he gets you to do is to create I think he calls it a fantasia. of imagery inspired by the keywords of that color season and to not overthink it too much. Now, these are all inspired by, more extended knowledge of color seasons, but it should give you some inspiration of how the colors work together and how they interact. And so you could even pick an image off of this mood board and use it as inspiration for an outfit, which is what I have done here. I have taken this leaf picture, which is kind of jewel toned, and selected colors from this picture to create an outfit. So I've taken that forest green as the base because it's the base of that picture. So that's the most fabric in this outfit, which is the trousers. And I've paired that in through an earring just to make that trouser color make sense. Then I've added an accent color of the pink we see running through the leaves. And as a second kind of neutral, I've taken that deep, rich burgundy for the bag and the shoes. So these aren't typically a color combination that you would see on the street. Largely, it's so much more unique and more original, but the colors flow together because they're tonally the same, and because you've taken inspiration from the mood board and then brought it into life, you've created something different and you've created something cohesive. If you enjoyed this video, there are some free resources in the description which will help you with the dark winter season even more. If you're not sure if dark winter is for you, if you love the palette but you're still not sure if it's you, you should check out this video, which is where I break down in very simple steps how to find your color season using your features. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.